GOTHIC Christ just dropped a new album, PRO XRISTOU, and when I heard it the first time, I thought it was a solid 6. I gave it a few more spins to find out if it's really that bad. PRO XRISTOU is GOTHIC Christ's 14th full-length studio album. It's 10 songs, 46 minutes. The name means before Christ. The cover is really cool. It has some warfare, collapsing bridge, sinking boats, people killing each other. Really kind of fits the music somehow. And the band is really interesting. I mean, it was founded back in '87, started as a grindcore band. The only original members are the singer Sakis Tollis and the drummer Temis Tollis, brothers. And they kind of developed from grind metal into kind of black metal, something that we today would call traditional black metal, but back then it was revolutionary black metal. And then more into kind of atmospheric gothic black metal. And I really, really like their last two albums, Rituals that came in 2016 and The Heretics that came 2019. And I feel that with their direction that they have taken, they have kind of carved out a niche somehow in this metal market that, you know, there's not a lot of bands that I can say that sound exactly like GOTHIC Christ. I saw them live 2 years ago, so I was pretty excited about getting this album. I wasn't really sold on this album on the first listen, I'll be honest about that. I actually had to check if I had put on a previous album or if this was the new album because it just sounded somehow the same. But I was far away from here, so I couldn't go in and record anything right away, so I gave it a few more spins. And already on the second listen, I started kind of enjoying it more. It kind of sucked me in more, the atmosphere of the album and the melodies and all that. It really kind of pulls you in somehow. I mean, they're continuing definitely what they were doing on the last two albums. This is no like breakthrough album in some sense. There's plenty of grand stuff, but never overcomplicated. You know, like the songs are big somehow, but they are not messy. And to be honest, I actually feel that some of those songs are a little bit more simple than the previous work, and they kind of let more the hooks and the melodies and the riffs, they let it linger a little bit more on this album than they did on the last two albums at least. And the vocals on this album are really, really good. All the screaming, obviously, and all that, all the growling and all the harsh vocals are really cool. But then there's all this talk over the chorus, the choirs, the female vocals. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here that kind of adds a lot of depth to those songs. The lyrics are dark and gloomy, talking about Christianity, paganism, you know, misery, suffering, all the warfare that came with religion and all that stuff. What I'm missing a little bit here is a lot of the songs are kind of mid-tempo. It kind of feels that they're all around the same beats per minute or whatever. It just feels like that. I don't know, maybe it's not. The production quality is really, really good. Their sound is amazing actually on this. And I feel that it's a little bit softer maybe than on the previous albums. With all the stuff that is in the song, you clearly hear everything. And that's really, really cool. You really need to listen to this album on high volume. My favorite tracks of the album so far, La Lettera del Diavolo, it has an amazing drum beat. It's very dark, and then the chorus is kind of all goosebumps somehow. And it's not a complicated song or the arrangement of the song or anything like that, but it just really kind of hits home. And that's what I feel about this album. A lot of those songs have that something that they can live even if not overcomplicated. Another song that I really like is The Farewell. The darkness really continues there, has this kind of Black Sabbath-ish opening riff, then singing with screaming, and the underlying riff is supplemented by like a super cool bass line somehow. The Farewell, check the bass line there, it's really, really cool. The third song that I really like is Yggdrasil. I'm maybe a little bit biased here because Yggdrasil is an Icelandic word and I'm Icelandic, so it gives me a little bit of this Viking metal vibe. After 3 minutes, that song breaks down, the drums keeps going, and then the riff kicks in, and that is just a killer. I get goosebumps now talking about it. So the pros of this album is that it has amazing sound, production quality is top notch, great vocals, I really love that. All the theatrics and all that stuff that adds a lot of depth to it, and kind of by layering all this stuff on top, you actually make out of this something much more than it could have been. It grows. I like it more and more and more that I listen to it. Now the cons, it can feel a little bit repetitive. It's a little bit too much mid-tempo somehow, and it would have been nice if there would have been some more breakups in the rhythm somehow, but I don't know. Overall, I really, really like this. So I'm actually gonna give this album 9 out of 10. I will definitely be going back to this album and listening to it on, you know, my headphones and when I really want to get into something. Now, I'd be very happy if you'd like this video and subscribe to my channel for more album reviews, concert reviews, and interviews. Now, on new albums, the last week came out an album that I think is going to be one of the best death metal albums of this year. That's Gatecreeper, Dark Superstition. And then I actually did good old Kerry King. I also did a review on his album, so you can check those videos out here.